Well, hello everybody. I guess this is more of a return to form than I guess more than anything else. Because I haven't sat down and just talked to you guys in a really long time, and I am grateful to everyone that has subscribed to me. If you haven't subscribed and you're watching this, it would be cool if you did. I am back on Instagram. That's manicpixie.tradwife on Instagram, not on Twitter anymore. They nuked my account right before Elon stepped in, so I don't have any help from the mayor of Twitter. But anyway, it's me, Bonnie, and I just kind of wanted to talk about a few things, a lot of things, and one thing all at once. But I'll give you guys some updates about my life, I guess, first. We got moved in. Everything's moved in. I think the last time I recorded a video, I don't even know if I was here. But here we are. We're living in our house. It's great. I had my daughter in October, my second daughter, and she's 6 months old now. She's out there eating baby food. I can't believe she's eating food. And I'm just being a mom of two and being a wife. I'm a wife, and I just wanted to talk to people in my generation specifically, women in my generation specifically, because I don't know, this video is for you. If you're in your early 20s, let's get into it. Let me just start off by saying, right now in the world, we lived through COVID already, right? And it seems like that was the worst of it, right? But no, it seems like it just keeps getting worse. And I think that a time is coming, if it hasn't already came. It's definitely coming when you're gonna have to choose whether you want to be on the side of good and on the side of in your face, very apparent evil. And I don't know why it has become trendy, or even like a bad bitch thing to be evil, or to, treat men like shit, treat other women like shit that don't align with your views or how you live your life. And I'm seeing more and more and more intolerance. Like, we're supposed to be tolerant, like our generation grew up with everybody and everything. We had 9/11, we had other stuff. I'm kidding. We've lived through a lot of things, and I feel like society, for whatever reason, is the glasses in which we view things are changing, and a lot of people are waking up to the truth, and a lot of people are seeing things for what they are. If someone gets satanic imagery tattooed on them, let's just go ahead and take that as like face value. Like, no matter what they say, they know what they're doing. If someone's wearing a, you know, pentagram shirt and, you know, hail Satan, that's a fashion choice that they're making. And there's a lot of things, especially I've been thinking with Ohio, the train derailment in East Palestine, and there was another train derailment that leaked a bunch of methanol or something into the Ohio River. And a lot of these big corporate entities, again, we see them and we know that they mean us no good. They do us no good. A lot of people now are basing their entire identity on either one aspect of their personality, being gender expression or like a mental illness. They identify completely with that. And that is so self-serving. Which is fine if you want to serve yourself. I'm trying to have an open discussion. I hope it's an open discussion. But it's time to just like get real and start calling stuff what it is. Like calling stuff out for what it is. Because for me, for a long time, I was raised Christian, and then when I became an adult and went away and started becoming my own person, I discovered that hole in, you know, our chest and our heart and our being that we all have, that we as humans, for whatever reason, I don't think it's a coincidence, fill with what a lot of people today call spirituality, just like in general. Like, I was one of those people that was definitely spiritual in the way that like I would ceremonially like burn incense, basically doing actual witchcraft, cursing people, making, you know, small sacrifices, manifestation, moon cycles, astronomy, all that stuff is real. All that stuff is fine. Crystals have energy. The earth created it, and I'm not lessening that to any effect, but who created the earth? I just don't know how, and I'm hearing it in the news, I'm hearing it in how people talk about our society today as being post God or post religious society, and I would say that things have only gotten more divided and more worse off. And you know, we're seeing people in the White House that very obviously are just puppets, and I don't know if it is a gift from our creator or a very blatant move on the Prince of Darkness's part in showing us the truth of what these things actually are. COVID, that whole thing was a lie. The vaccination was a lie. People still, that to me, like, I mean, I'm not gonna, if you are gonna deny that people suffer from, are suffering, still suffering, suffer from the vaccine, the imaginary vaccine for whatever. I don't know how to avoid the guidelines, but it didn't stop transmission, and it didn't do anything except for give a lot of people heart problems. And that was the expense that everyone paid because they wanted a vaccine fast, but the vaccine didn't stop transmission. I guess it built up your immunity to the disease, but I still see advertisements saying like get your booster, and I still see videos of like some, that like old guy in New York that talked all the time during the pandemic, like knocking on people's doors saying like get your booster, get vaccinated, like all this stuff still in 2023. And I'm not even like using that as it's just a point that I'm trying to make, that like these government entities and the people that govern over us are blatantly lying to us, blatantly seeing how much force they can exercise over us, by even like banning certain parts of weapons, because a society without proper defense is easier to control, and especially during this time of enlightenment, and people are opening their eyes to see through these facades of government. And even like this is where I wanted to like dig in deep, is religion. When a lot of people talk about religion or whatever, the church, they say, when they talk about the church, they're talking about the Catholic Church. And the Catholic Church has, in my opinion, nothing to do with Christianity. It has nothing to do with anything good. I mean, the Pope is out here wearing Montclair and Gucci, and I mean, we've all known this forever, and there's abuse that goes on everywhere, but the Catholic Church, I mean, doesn't look good, okay? So that's the first thing I wanted to say, is that, like, if you are talking to someone about spirituality and you bring up the church and you're talking about the church, if we want to have a discussion, leave the Catholic stuff out of it, because they've taken books out of the Bible. They've talk about, regulating speech. They will take stuff out of the Bible, say stuff in Latin so people don't understand. They've been muddying the waters for a very long time. And the second argument that people have, besides, the church is evil, and what they mean is the Catholic Church, because obviously they've never experienced someone who has been, born again, and has the Holy Spirit living through them. That's the only experience they have, is like hearing about the Catholic Church, seeing the Catholic Church. And the second thing is they will use Bible verses against you, or people that use anything from the Bible to condemn somebody. I'm telling you right now, not a real Christian. Westboro Baptist people, not Christians. People that are spreading hate, that show up to Pride and just scream about, like everyone's going to hell and whatever. Like, those people are not Christian. And the only reason why I want to get into this is because, like I was saying in the beginning, it's a very important time. And if people are out here blatantly, whether they think it's real or not, Satan, the devil, is real. And the Satanic Church will rip pages out of the Bible, but that's the only thing that proves, the existence of their God. And I am a born-again Christian, And I just wanted to tell you something about the Bible. People that use verses to condemn other people in the Bible, if you have no context of it, you'd think that, what they're saying is actually in the Bible, and it is saying that. But a lot of these people will take verses from the Old Testament, and then not only is it from the Old Testament, but they will word it in a way that takes it out of any context. They'll just separate like a part of a verse, a part of a story, a part of a parable. And it doesn't mean anything because the New Testament happened after that. So basically, the Bible is like split into two parts, the Old Testament and New Testament. The Old Testament, historically, we got Moses, we got, leaving Egypt, we've got all of that, law of Moses. And then Jesus is the New Testament. Jesus talks about the end of the world and all of these signs, and he talks about Satan and defeating Satan and how to live forever and what to look for in the world when, things are getting dark, and things are getting dark. And there are people out there that need to know that someone as divine as the person who created these crystals, the person that created the plants that we use to feel better, the person that, not the person, but God, his son, and the Holy Spirit love you. What they don't like is sin. And it's very easy to just be a believer, born again, going to church on Sunday. Jesus never said you have to go to church every Sunday. Like, Jesus said, love one another, and make disciples out of disciples. And I feel convicted, and you can take this message from me or not, to just let people know that there is spirituality out there for you that is real and can make physical things happen, miracles, blessings. I think it's a perfect opportunity for me to share, my testimony and what happened. And if I can just ask you guys, whoever is watching this, to listen to my testimony and how I became, born again Christian, and how that doesn't really change that much about me and changes everything about me at the same time. If you just listen, that's all I ask. I'm not preaching at you. I'm just telling you about my life, okay? I was born into a military family, and we went to church every Sunday, youth group and stuff on Wednesdays. And then I moved away, but I stopped going to church at the church, my family went to. I stopped going to church around 13 or 14 because I felt convicted by the church that I went to, by other people claiming to be Christian, and people that claim to be Christian but still condemn other Christians in the church are there. There's enemies, even, they're everywhere. Okay, like evil is everywhere. But I was saving up to go on this mission trip, and it's really cool because I'm from Ohio, from the middle of a cornfield, and wouldn't you love the opportunity to go somewhere with your friends? And at the time, the people in the youth group were my friends and my brother and my family. And during that time, Christian music was actually amazing. Like, there was metal, so much good Christian metal. And it was beautiful. But regardless, I was smoking a cigarette, and I guess the youth pastor found out about it and, said, you can't go on the mission trip because we don't want people like you influencing the people that we are trying to disciple to, because you're going to distract from the message with your sin, whatever. And I took that, and I didn't really take it to heart. I was just like, okay, well, I like nicotine, so I'm going to, just go my separate ways, because I didn't feel loved there. I didn't feel that I had been separated from God in the most treacherous way by someone in the church. So I go on to the city. I moved to Chicago, and a series of events start to unfold after I had my first daughter. Like I said, I moved back to Chicago, and I was there for about, the second time I lived there, about 6 months. And during that 6 months, I had my car stolen and totaled. And whoever stole it, they found, a gun in there. And I had broken my leg. I went to LA, lost my phone, lost my passport, didn't have anything. I was staying with strangers that I would meet online. I was doing anything I could to run and temporarily feel that warmth and that fullness of being a complete person, because my soul is accounted for. And there were nights that I would black out at a party and my friends would carry me out. And there was one night, and this was kind of the straw that broke my back, at least. I had gotten roofied at a bar, and shout out to Churdley's, but he was out there. My friend Chad, I got his name tattooed on my arm, saved me from a life of presumably sexual slavery, human trafficking, because by the time he noticed me, I was getting put into a car with a broken leg on crutches after I got roofied. And he stayed with me. He called the police. He stayed with me through the hospital till I came to again. And I left not that much later. And I came back here. I went to rehab. And you would think right there is when I found, religion again. And I found Christ, actually. But it wasn't. I'd come home and, I tried living my old lifestyle like I had lived it. And it wasn't clicking, because I'm a mother now, I can't conduct myself in the same way. So I start staying in. I start, focusing on what I wanted in life and not what I thought other people wanted me to do. And I started going to church with my parents. I started praying again. All it takes to be born again is to admit that you have done wrong in your life, that you have sinned, and ask for forgiveness. That is it. That is all you have to do. And for some reason, that is so insane to some people. And I get it. But at the same time, like, it's not like there's such a grimy, weird view of Christianity because of because they're always the loudest. The wrong people are always the loudest. Dylan Mulvaney, fucking, who else sucks and is loud? I don't know, Jason Momoa, like, just annoying people. They're normally the loudest. I don't know where I'm going with that, but, these people like Westboro Baptist and just people that spew hatred, they're not with God. They're being lied to. You know, it's possible. But I have found, since I started admitting that I, was wrong and I wanted to do better and live better and be better for my children, a really good man who's now my husband came into my life, and he was the first person that ever told me that I was a beautiful mother. When you're trying to date as a single mom, I don't know if anyone can relate. If you can, stick to it, never settle. These guys will tell you, like, just so you know, I'm not taking care of you and that kid. And, like, that's something someone verbatim told me, and I didn't even ask. But my husband, Adam, told me that I was a beautiful mother. And then, I didn't even think that I could have another kid, and I did. And then we got a house, and then we have land, and we have a future. He has a career, and I have a career, and I have a renewed sense of life, a renewed sense of self, something that I can stand on and be proud of. I am so proud of my past that everyone, tells me that I should be ashamed of, whatever. I made some mistakes, but that's the point. That's the point. And at the end of it, do you ever wish, like, as an adult and you're crying, you have an existential crisis, I want to go home, but you don't have a home? For me, for a lot of people, Jesus is home. He is my Father. And my soul, he sees me. My soul is accounted for. I know all the baddies or whatever want to say that, Lilith is their favorite demon. Lilith is Mary Magdalene. She was filled with demons. Lilith was possessed. No human on earth could save her. And all it took was Jesus saying, "You are mine, Mary." And she had a new name, she had a new life, and she wasn't Lilith anymore. So I just want to say, take everything that I said with a grain of salt and do your own research into it. If you're a Christian and you used to talk to God and you used to pray and whatever, and you notice that your life isn't really turning out the way you want to, God has a plan for every single one of us. But that plan will not be open to you if you can't just admit that you were wrong and you need forgiveness. As soon as I did that, blessings and miracles started happening in my life. Every day, God has blessed me. And I have nothing but obligation to say, thank God that I am not the same person. Thank God that I am changed. And I still love crystals. I still burn sage. I still do everything. Nothing about me. I there's nothing in the Bible that says you can't cuss. There's nothing in the Bible that says you can't have a tattoo. There's nothing in the Bible that says you can't have a piercing. There's nothing in the Bible that says you can't smoke weed or drink. There's nothing except for admitting that you have done wrong to people and asking for forgiveness. That's it. And if there's even a 1% chance that hell is real, wouldn't you want to not be in hell and go to heaven? Because hell isn't like a party. Satan is not Little Nas X. Satan is a giant fucking snake. And he wants to like peel your skin off and have you burn for eternity. Not for your sins. You're not going to go to hell for your sins. You're going to go to hell because you deny God and deny his plans for your life. And you're like, what? Like the win girl, the meme girl is saying this? Yeah, I am saying this because it's going to take people like me. And it's going to take people like you to change the world. And I want to change the world. I want my friends to be in the light with me, especially during these next couple of years, and not in the dark. Because the darkness is everywhere, and it's very much so alive, and it's being pushed by every institution. And this post-religious society, that's how they describe it, is not one that I want to live in. I want to live in, I want them to look back at our generation and, say we had the summer of love, not the summer of protests. You know what I mean? Like, it just takes loving each other, loving yourself enough to admit that you're wrong and admit that something is missing from your life. And I'm telling you this, no cap. It happened to me. I was convicted, and I prayed to God, and my life changed. That's it. And I don't know what the next video will be about. I don't know if I'm gonna be like labeled, crazy after this. But what I will tell you is that, I have some conservative views, as in like, I think that marriage is great. I don't know why it's not, two people. Yeah, it's better when you have someone. I forget what I was saying. But that's okay. Oh yeah, conservative. Whatever. I think that, people should own guns, and people should, when they're adults, do whatever they want. Like, there should be no, laws. What I am is an anarchist, because I don't want any part in this world. I don't vote. I'm not ever going to vote. I don't trust these systems. I don't trust anything except for what God has put in my heart. And today he put in my heart to make this video. And I hope that you can take it from someone like me that, darkness is real. So light is real as well. And yeah, I want a summer of love. I want a summer of rapid change. I want a summer of enlightenment and people opening their eyes to what's going on and actually doing something about it. We can do something about it. We can, if enough of us say something, we can do something about it. And I know that there are people right now clenching their pearls and that are Christians that aren't even saying anything. They're just wearing crosses and maybe saying, like, you know, God is great in their bio, which is great. But we need more and more and more and more and more to combat the insane amount of darkness that is happening right now. Look into CERN. Look into the particle collider. Look into what the government's doing. Look into the Washington D.C. abortion trial where they, you know, laid the corpses of these 9-month-old slaughtered babies on the White House lawn, and turns out that abortion clinic was sending the bodies of children to be burned for energy for the city that makes our legislation. Like, I don't want to be a part of baby sacrificing evil. I don't want to be a part of people who are actively protecting Ghislaine Maxwell and killed Jeffrey Epstein and not releasing the flight logs. I don't want to be a part of the pedophilic cult of, you know, children have to be online and on TikTok and exposed to everything so they don't hate anyone. Like, I want to just be flower, sunshine, rainbow, happy, touch grass, hug each other, love each other, give freely. That is what we need right now, and that is what I think and what I hope some of us can do. Because this whole thing of, like, being in the dark and pretending that, you know, there is no light, and pretending that, you know, like, apparently people, you know, well, not today, Satan, like, Satan's real, but God isn't. Just get real. And, you know, do you want to be on the side of former presidents and weird babies and, like, the political people and the celebrities and Hollyweird and all of that weird stuff? Or do you want to be on the side of new life? And, you know, I get that, you know, domesticity in its past forms wasn't perfect, and men were, you know, not equal to women. But you know who can fucking change that? Is people actually doing it. Like, you being in a polyamorous relationship with, like, a bunch of mediocre people is not sticking it to anyone except for a big middle finger to your fucking self. Because you deserve more than that. You deserve someone who loves you for everything that is you. And that can start with Jesus Christ. And he will put these people in your life. He will put these blessings in your life. And if it has to come from someone like me, for you to believe it, that's kind of crazy, but I hope you do, because you can acknowledge that things are not going well right now, and that's because we're not doing anything for the greater good of each other. We are self-centered. We are, you know, since COVID, we're all locked up. We order our food. We don't give a shit about people working behind the counter. We don't care. When you're talking to customer service, you're not like, thanks, Tabitha, at the end. Like there is less and less and less humanity, more AI, more digital facades. Like, I want to strip all of that away, and I want to be people again, and I want us to love each other. And that's where I'm gonna end it today. yeah. So next time I come on here, I'll probably talk about another topic, something else. If you have any questions or you want to debate me, you can put it in the comments. And yeah, I'll see you next time. And if a bunch of you unfollow me, well, you're evil.